Hello and welcome to LVCOM special series of engineering graphics. In this special series, we are going to look at all the concepts using Cognifront software. GTU have taken initiative to take special advantage of this Cognifront software. Now, what is the Cognifront software? Cognifront is a company based in the Nasik. They are into the digitalization of all the subjects. Our all concepts will be cleared one by one using some sort of animation, some sort of 3D graphics. It's a very nice software, and we will see step by step how we can enjoy this engineering graphics using very special effects. Now, today's topic is introduction to the engineering graphics. Now, when it comes to engineering graphics, it seems that we are having some sort of problems in our mind that what is the engineering graphics and why it is required. What is the meaning of engineer? Engineer is something, a person who is handling all the things with due care and having some sort of technical knowledge to share with other workers. Now, what is the graphics? There are so many graphical representations. One is like one artist is there. An artist is doing some sketches, but when you see an artist is doing sketch, it does not contain any sort of technical details. But when it comes to engineering graphics, it seems that it should contain all technical details which require to cover this technical aspects. Now let's have a look at our first problem. The first question arises in our mind is why we need engineering graphics? What is the need? Why we should use engineering graphics to draw any sort of drawing? So here is the answer to your question. Graphic language and its effectiveness. Graphic language have so much effectiveness in it. Now if you see, you can see two buildings. Now when you see two buildings, if you are a normal person, you will see that it's two buildings only. But if you ask any sort of question to any sort of civil engineer, then what they will look, they will see that how many numbers of load are acting on it, how many numbers of trusses are on it, and other parameters like this. So this is a basic thing that what we are taking in technicality and what we are seeing. Now this is a very easy example. Now if someone says that you need to describe these pictures, what will you say? It's a building. The first building is having some sort of triangular shape and it's made up of various columns. What will you say about this building? You will say that it's having unique shape and huge parking space over here. But where are the technicalities in it? For the technicalities, we need to use engineering graphics. Now, those were civil pictures, pictures of the buildings. Now, if you see, these are the mechanical things. Now, what if I say that you need to describe the first picture, you need to describe this picture? One will say that yeah, it's a junction of the pipelines. One will say that it consists of flanges, elbows, valves, etc. What will you say about this? You will say that it's something green color part having two holes in it and one big hole in the center of it. But do you know what is the diameter of this pipe? What is the length of this pipe? What is the height of this thing? All this thing cannot be described in this kind of thing. For describing those kind of thing, we need to have engineering graphics. It's found that word language is inadequate to describe size, shape and features completely as well as concisely. Now, if I am talking to you and if I am saying that so and so height is there, I am having height of 5 feet and someone is having height of 4 feet and he is fat, he is looking young, he is looking old, but do it require any sort of technical things? So words are very much inadequate to describe any sort of size, shape or the features. To describe those size, shape and the features, we need to have engineering graphics. With use of the engineering graphics, we will describe which kind of size is there, what is the shape of any drawing, and what are the features of it. We can do complete justice to our words if we are having some sort of drawing in our hand. But if we do not have any drawing in our hand, then what will happen? It will be inadequate. So we don't want to be inadequate, we want to adequate. So that's why we are using engineering graphics. Now if we see that we have seen that what is engineering graphics. Now it comes to our mind that what is the role of the designer. Engineering graphics means that you need to design something. Then what is the role of the designer? Designer having some sort of plan in his mind, but he convert those ideas into reality using the drawings. If I am having some sort of thing in my mind but I cannot implement it in the reality, then it's only idea. But if I say that I want to go to the moon, but if I don't have the space shuttle, then how can I go over there on the moon? So if I have desire, if I have any sort of plan in my mind, then I should implement using some sort of drawing or some sort of available resources. So that's the role of the designer. Now when we conclude the designs, we need to have some sort of design documentation. We need to communicate our ideas and concept with our colleagues and workers. We are having some sort of idea in our mind, but a team can do better than an individual. So we need to communicate our ideas and concept to our colleague and workers so that the best thing we can achieve. Now another thing, after we have communicated very much ideas with colleagues and our workers, now what we need to do? When we are in the team, we need to assign the responsibilities. We need to assign the responsibilities to the designers, to the machinists who are going to machine those parts, to the workers who will provide the raw materials and who will implement the design. And after completing all the things, if we are having any sort of problem, then we need to have a team of problem solvers. That means that we need to have a troubleshooting team. Troubleshooting team will do one thing only. After completing of the production, they will check if any sort of problems are there or not in the product. Now we have seen that what is designer, what is the role of the designer, how we can do some sort of design documentation. Now it comes that what are the type of the drawings. There are so many drawings available in the market. Like we are going to market and we are purchasing some sort of painting, that is also a drawing. We are having some sort of technical drawing which is having dimensions, title block and all those things. That's technical drawing. Many of you have seen the advertisement of any bike manufacturing company or any building construction company. They are having beautiful lavish building site, but those sites have not been built yet, though they are showing that these sites have been concluded. That's a illustration or rendering. It shows that what are the future plans. So first type is artistic drawing, that do not have any sort of technicalities into it. Another one is technical drawing. It consists of all the technical details which requires to implement the artistic drawing or the illustrations. And third one is illustrations. Illustrations are majority used for the non-technical person who are having no any sort of knowledge, but they want to see that how my home or how my product is going to be seen after final stage. So the rendering drawing are implemented for those persons who are interested in seeing their final product, but they do not have any sort of technical knowledge. This is a very funny picture. It shows that the world without aeronautical engineer. We use the word engineering graphics. It consists of engineers. We are having various type of engineer: aeronautical engineer, EC engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, communication engineer. All those engineers are very much required in this era. This picture shows that this world is without aeronautical engineer. One might not think of the planes, and one might not think of the space shuttle. We might be flying on the Dragon. It shows like this. What if the world is without electronics engineer? We are surrounded by so many electronic gadgets like mobile, telephone, television, DVD player, iPhone, etc., etc. But if electronics engineer are not there, what should be the future? The future would be a disaster, a bizarre. So engineers are very much required. What if the world is without mechanical engineers? We don't know what is the role of the tires. We might be hanging around there and where using cars, but we do not know how to run the car. It might be the case if we do not have mechanical engineer in our field. What if our civil engineers are not there? We surrounded by so many beautiful buildings, so many beautiful bridges, so many amazing canals. But what if civil engineers are not there? What if they have not designed any sort of beautiful things like this? So we still might be running on this wooden bridge. That also a broken one. How many engineering professions? How engineering profession works? This image shows that. Basically, engineering profession is a organization, and it works with the team. When organization is having some sort of teamwork, then what will they do? They will have some sort of graphical knowledge to them. They will have skilled person. They will have communication with each other. And after communication with each other, they will finalize those things, they will analyze those things, and if they are having any sort of problem, they will solve those problems. So what are the engineering profession consist of? It consists of teamwork, organization, problem solving, communication skills, graphics, and analysis. Again, analysis is very much important part. If we are implementing any sort of thing, then we need to have something to analyze, and we need to check that whether we have produced right thing or not. So analysis is very much important. Teamwork is again very much important parameter. Problem solving, we need to solve the problem if we are having any sort of problem after installing any sort of product, or we are having any problem after completing those tasks. Communication to each other, share the idea. Communication with each other will increase the idea portal, and we will have huge ideas on our mind. What are the engineering roles? Basically, there are two persons. One is engineer and another one would be technician. Now, engineer can also be scientist and he can also be technologist. Now, what this engineering roles say about? Engineer is the person who is compiling all those things, who is communicating with the team, who is having some sort of graphical knowledge, he is having some sort of ideas in his mind, but to convert those ideas they require some team. So engineer will look up to the scientist for the performance of those tasks which are in their mind. The engineer can look up to technologist also. Technologist is a person who will be machining those parts, who will be machining and finishing those product which is in the mind of the engineer. What is the role of the technician then? Technician is a person, we can say that if an engineer is having a knowledge of technicalities, then this technician is having knowledge of the practicality. And technicians would be the person who will be dealing with the craftsmen, who will be directly doing the production, and their technician will also be in the touch with the technologist as well. We have seen what is engineering graphics, why we need it, what is the world without the engineers. Now, what are the process to implement engineering graphics? There are few processes which we require to implement engineering graphics. It's a step by step process. If we want to design anything, then it is a very step by step process, and we will look this step by step procedure in brief. Now, what is the first point? First point, we need to visualize. If we cannot visualize, we cannot do any sort of designing. What we should visualize? We should visualize what are the problems around us, and apart from the problem, we need to explore the ideas. Now, let me give you one example. In the past, we are having small bridges, but in some person's mind it would come that we should have huge bridges so that traffic should be diverted. So we have got huge flyovers over our roads currently. About exploration of the ideas, before 10 years or so, we are having the landline phones. In someone's mind came that we need to have something wireless, so they have produced and they have explored the ideas, and they have invented cell phone. After inventing those cell phone, we are having huge cell phones, and the cell phones with the button. After few time, they realize that we need to have something which does not consist any sort of button, and maintenance should be less. So they have